Good morning, everybody. My name is Pablo Borboroglu, and I am the founder and president of the Global Penguin Society. It is a great pleasure to be with all of you today in another fantastic Wildlife Conservation Network Expo. Thank you so much for joining us today to celebrate conservation together. To give you an insight into the penguin world, I want to tell you that there are 18 different species of penguins. They all breed across islands and continents throughout the southern hemisphere. Over half of them, the ones that are included in the red square, are considered threatened. Normally, we tend to think that penguins are fine and that they are all happy, but some species are really in trouble. For example, the yellow-eyed penguin that breeds in New Zealand has a population lower than 1,700 pairs. And even the tropical penguin, the Galapagos penguin, has a population that is lower than 2,000 pairs. Let me show you this map with Antarctica in its center, which is the world from the penguin perspective. They breed along 4 continents, including Antarctica, Oceania, Africa, and also South America. This red arrow shows the place where I am right now in Patagonia, Argentina. To address penguin threats, Global Penguin Society works with all species of penguins through science, habitat management, and also education. We are based in Argentina, but we have actions across 20 countries. Last year, we celebrated our 10th anniversary year, and this year we are launching our new logo, and we hope you like it as much as we do. When we think about penguins, the image that comes to our mind normally is the one of a colony with a lot of penguins. But we must realize that each penguin has a life, a unique personality, a family, and their own personal story. Today, I want to share with you the story of Clarita. She is one of the first 6 females that settled down in a colony called Pedral that we discovered 12 years ago. Through Clarita, you will learn about the challenges that penguins are facing and how our actions are helping to address penguin threats globally. When we first found Clarita, she was incubating her egg with a plastic bottle in the back of her nest. Plastic pollution is a threat for penguins because sometimes they can get entangled in those pieces, and sometimes penguins can eat little plastic pieces that can harm them and also kill them. Clarita stayed together with her partner called Honorio for 8 years, and together they raised 7 chicks successfully. But unfortunately, after one winter, Honorio never came back, and he died during his migration, and we wonder what happened to him. Oil spills have killed thousands of penguins across 4 continents already. But we do not think that was the cause of his disappearance. We haven't had a major oil spill in the region lately. Maybe he was likely killed in a fishing net. Sometimes fisheries operate in the same areas where penguins feed, so they can kill penguins when they get entangled in the nets, as the penguin that you can see in the picture. Another threat that is also affecting Clarita and Honorio is climate change. Climate change is affecting the availability of food in the ocean, particularly in a moment when the chicks are very small and they have to be fed very frequently. If the food is far away from the colony, it takes longer for the parents to get the food and come back. And sometimes by the time they come back, the chicks are dead. So in some cases, that is the main reason of the decline of some populations. Climate change is also increasing the frequency and the severity of some storms that take place in a moment where the chicks are more vulnerable because their feathers are not yet waterproof. So they get wet, and those storms come with strong cold winds, so the chicks lose the body temperature and they die from hypothermia. Back in Pedral, where Clarita lives, one of the main problems since the very beginning was human disturbance. People access this area with ATVs, throwing garbage everywhere, bringing dogs that could harm the penguins, and also setting bushes on fire. Against many odds, we were able to protect the colony, designating it as a wildlife refuge to help penguins thrive. In addition, we promoted a responsible ecotourism operation that generates jobs for local people and a sustainable livelihood for the local community. When we first found this colony 12 years ago, the colony had only 6 pairs of nests. After a decade of our protection, the colony now has 2,600 pairs. You might wonder by now what happened to Clarita. Well, she rebuilt her life finding a new partner. And they keep on coming back to the colony year after year to breed chicks successfully. And they are thriving now thanks to our conservation actions. And there are also penguins, new penguins in Antarctica. COVID times have been complicated for humans, but penguins have continued with her life, fortunately. During the winter in the southern hemisphere, the emperor penguins have been incubating their eggs in Antarctica, and the first chicks have been hatching in August. So by now, the emperor chicks in Antarctica are 2 months old, like the one that you can see in the image. In other regions, penguins have been spending months feeding and migrating in the ocean. This map shows the southern part of New Zealand, and each line shows the feeding trips of individual penguins. When working with our partners in New Zealand, we have been able to track penguins throughout the winter during their trips of thousands of kilometers. Here we can see one of our studied penguins with a red tracking device on its back. The info that we collect is very important to allow us to detect overlaps between the areas that penguins use in the ocean and also areas that are used by human beings, for example, in fisheries and also oil industry. Why is this information important is what Laura Reyes will explain you next. Laura is the director of the Global Penguin Society Conservation Program.
Hi, I'm very happy to be with you. We learned that penguins live on land and in the ocean, and they are facing threats in both habitats. We use scientific information to promote and design the creation of marine and coastal protected areas to minimize the impact of human activities on penguins. At Pedral Colony, where Clarita lives, we tracked individual penguins to identify the areas, the routes where they feed and the areas where they feed. And we are working now with the government to create a new marine protected area around Pedral Colony, and also to enlarge the protected area, the current protected area on land, to minimize the impact of human activities in the area. Protected areas benefit not only the penguins, but also a lot of species. And a clear example of that is the Patagonia Sul UNESCO Biosphere Reserve we created 5 years ago. In the map, it is the light blue area. It is included in the light blue area. We lead the creation of this area, working with the government and the UNESCO. and it is the largest biosphere reserve in Argentina, roughly like Maryland or Belgium. This reserve protects 20 Magellanic penguin colonies with 1 million penguins, representing 40% of the global population of this species. And it also protects 700 marine and terrestrial species, including 67 seabird species, 36 marine mammal species, 67 terrestrial bird species, and around 31 terrestrial mammal species. We worked in this area for over 30 years, and we are really very, very proud that we could lead and fund this area, providing a long-term protection for this important area in Patagonia. And we had a new success this year because another protected area was created. Last year, we developed a management plan for a unique area in Patagonia called Complejo Islote de Lobos. And we engaged the communities in that process. And this participatory plan was critical to increase the value and the visibility of this area for the communities and for the government. And the good news is that the management plan, catalyzed the designation of this area as a national marine park. These are terrific news for us because the new park has a very valuable natural and cultural resources, including graves of indigenous people that lived 3,000 years ago. Moreover, over 400 species use the area, including fragile seabird species like the stern, and also it includes the northernmost penguin colony of the Atlantic Ocean, of the Magellanic penguin colony. But there is no possible conservation if we do not engage and educate communities. So now let's listen to our director of education program, Lujan Villabriga.
Hello everybody. Recently we have showed how the Global Penguin Society works in different activities related to science, which provide useful information to promote action and to protect penguin habitats. In addition, through a massive local education program, we give children the opportunity to make a real connection with penguins. And by means of our global education activities, we reach international audiences as well. We truly believe that education is essential if we want future generations to protect penguins and the oceans. Therefore, we work hard to reach kids and communities with our conservation message. In order to explain what activities we lead to raise awareness about the importance to protect penguins and how we engage and empower communities, we created the next promotional video in which you can see what we do.
Penguins reflect how wonderful and fragile our planet Earth is. They are indicators of the health of the oceans and reveal to us the problems caused by human actions. Global Penguin Society is an international organization that promotes the conservation of all 18 penguin species in the world and the protection of the coasts and oceans they inhabit. To help penguins cope with the main threats they face, we work to generate useful conservation science, promote the protection of their habitats, and carry out multiple environmental education activities. Our education program aims to foster a conservation culture so that people value and understand the importance of protecting penguins and their environments. Through one of our main educational activities, we bring local students and communities to visit penguin colonies in person. Kids are visiting penguin colonies often for the first time in their lives, despite living very close in the same region. We offer them the experience of meeting penguins so that the next generations appreciate and preserve them. We provide lessons, donate books, and provide educational materials to schools so that learning continues in the classroom and at home. In addition to teaching local communities, we also carry out virtual education programs to reach the international community of children and adults. This includes digital educational material on our website, online classes to thousands of students streamed live from remote penguin colonies, as well as presentations and lectures given in person in multiple countries. Penguins live both at the sea and on land, so they uniquely face threats in both environments. Plastic pollution is one of the major threats that affects penguins on different continents, putting their lives at risk. To raise awareness of this growing problem in the communities, we organize beach cleanup events at penguin colonies and nearby areas. We also carry out awareness campaigns to reduce the consumption of single-use plastics at beach resorts. All these actions aim at generating behavioral changes to benefit the environment. The health of the oceans is critical for the survival of penguins and the fate of our planet. Learn more about these charismatic animals so you can join our global efforts to protect them at globalpenguinsociety.org.
As the video explained, one of the activities we work on is developing educational material such as books, booklets, and our poster Penguin of the World. Our educational booklet called Mensajeros del Mar, in English Messenger of the Sea, is distributed for free in 5 Spanish-speaking countries where penguins live. This year, we are working hard to raise awareness on global audiences of children. So, we are elaborating a learning and activity book in English and Spanish. This book combines fantastic handmade paintings with educational activities that will bring children around the planet closer to the amazing penguins world through fun and entertainment. As Poppy mentioned before, plastic pollution is an emerging issue in the oceans. And that's why we have been working on a campaign to reduce single-use plastics in beach resorts of a main tourist city destination in Patagonia, which is very close to Pedral Colony, where Clarita raises her chicks. This campaign managed to prevent the use of 32,000 straws and 25,000 single-use plastic cups by the beach resorts, keeping them out of the marine coast. We offer a reusable cup that people can use and then return or keep it for future. We replaced plastic straws by biodegradable bamboo straws made by local manufacturers. In addition, another great achievement is that our actions promoted a law that banned single-use plastic straws in this city. Finally, I want to show you this amazing image about children in their first school trip to the penguin colony, where they express their happiness. They make me feel passionate for what I do and inspire me to keep improving the outreach of our conservation message. I know that the behavioral change of this generation takes time, but if we are able to change one behavior in one person or a family, it makes a huge difference because it means at least one person can spread our conservation message in the community. I hope all of you can make a behavioral change in your daily life to reduce the pollution in our oceans, and thus showing our global effort to protect penguins. Thank you very much for your support.
Many thanks, Lujan, for that. Finally, let's look into the future. There are new challenges ahead linked to emerging threats. We are assessing the nature of the illegal trade of penguins linked to the opening of new aquariums in Asia. We know also that in Tokyo, for example, there is a penguin bar where people go at night to drink something, and there are endangered African penguins in a very small place with a small swimming pool, as you can see in the picture. And they have to live in dog kennels. This is wrong and shouldn't be happening to penguins. More recently, we have learned about the sale of penguin skins and bones under very strange circumstances. So we are working to learn more about this issue to help address it. But let's come back to Clarita. She's still a young female, but she could live up to 35 years old if we can manage to secure a healthy and safe environment for her. Together with supporters like you, we have been able to accomplish great things together. Every time you support our work, you are helping many penguins like Clarita and her chicks, but you are also contributing to the livelihoods of thousands of people that depend on ecotourism. It is a win-win situation where we can help not only penguins, but also people and the entire planet. Thank you very much.